A mother and her two kids have been found guilty of murder after they stabbed a relative to death in a revenge attack on his doorstep. Joanne Maxwell, age 47, her son, Liam Donlin, 25, and her daughter, Amy Clegg, 22, worked as a team to plot the brutal slaughter. The trio lured their distant relative Paul Scott out of his home in Blackburn about a disagreement that had gone on months before between him and Joanne Maxwell. Paul had attempted to break up a fight Joanne was involved in back in September 2024. Joanne was not happy that he had not intervened. At the front door, Amy Clegg filmed her brother, Liam Donlin, stab Paul in the heart for Snapchat, as he told him, "Go on, you little effing rat." The jurors heard. After a night out, all of them took a cab together back to the family home. The taxi driver heard Joanne Maxwell say, "It needs to be sorted out tonight. It needs to be done." He also said Liam Donlin, who had only just been released from prison, was getting charged up in a bad way. After the three returned home, they took 4 knives from a block in the kitchen. As the three made their way to Paul's home, Liam sent voice notes saying he was going to chop this kid up now. Prosecutor Richard Little KC said Joanne Maxwell had recruited her 6'1" former kickboxing championship son, Liam, after the issue rose between her and Paul. He added, "The reason they are all there is because of her. She not only encouraged it, she championed it. She was the director and producer of that violent movie." Mr. Little said despite all this, all three had a role to play in the fatal stabbing. The court heard Amy Clegg knew where Paul lived and directed her family to his home that night whilst carrying the knives in her bag. Amy Clegg later lied about her and her brother's names and told the ambulance service she didn't know the address she was at or how Paul suffered his injuries. Richard Little KC said, "This was no accident. This was a severe stab wound, deliberate, straight to the chest and heart of Paul Scott. Liam Donlin did it because his mum had history with Paul Scott. They all wanted the same thing. They wanted to teach Paul Scott a lesson. They wanted to chop him up with a knife." All three was found guilty of murder and will be sentenced in March. Speaking after the verdict, Paul's family said, "The last 7 months have been the most challenging time our family has ever had to endure, a family's worst nightmare. Our beloved Paul was taken from us in an unimaginable act of cruelty, set upon by a mother, her daughter, and her son. A trio of evil attacked, killed, and filmed Paul's last moments in the dead of night on his doorstep. Over this 3-week trial, we have been forced to relive this twisted nightmare in horrific detail. It's been a long road towards justice for Paulie, and we as a family would like to thank everybody involved in securing today's convictions."